Holla.
Holla, you dirty
Holla.
bitches.
What's
Merry
up?
Christmas,
Merry
my
Christmas,
brother.
brother. How are
Red
you?
Band. Oh, shit,
Merry
Jamie.
Christmas. Merry Christmas.
No, we're talking about
Merry
how
Christmas, Jamie.
Italians weren't allowed above 12th Street because the Irish controlled the Italians in the 40s. That's how it was, the pecking order. And he was the first one to make it out, and it just cleared the Italian. You gotta watch this documentary.
It's on Sinatra?
It's Sinatra on HBO, All of Me or something like that. And it's weird because I always grew up hearing these up stories about him, like that he was kind of a little rough. But, bro, he fucking loved people like us. Like, he lived for that craziness. He loved it. Burt Reynolds just put out a book. Have you been reading the excerpts that they've been releasing?
No. Good.
And he bumped into Sinatra one night, and Sinatra told him to go play cards over at some bar, and they're playing cards, and the guy dropped the dishes, and the owner was yelling at him, and Sinatra called the owner over, and he goes, how much you think a glass is? He goes, I don't know, maybe 30 cents, and he goes, give him $3,000. Bring me $3,000 worth of glasses. And he called the busboy over there. He was yelling at him, he embarrassed, and he goes, what's your name? Hector. Hector, I want you to break every fucking glass. And he started breaking glasses. Nobody knew what was going on. And he goes, if I ever come in here and Hector's not here, I'm going to tell all my friends not to come in here and eat. And Burt Reynolds got up and he goes, where the fuck are you going? He goes, I already got my Sinatra story. He goes, sit the fuck down and play cards, will you?
I got my Sinatra story. Yeah. Yeah, he was supposed to be an incredible guy.
Like, in that sense. And then after, like, he got down, like, that documentary really breaks it down. Like, he went really down. Then he did a world tour out of his pocket. Were just for kids. He donated everything for kids. His daughter said he never recovered from Kennedy screwing him over. Like, he never recovered from that. You just got to catch it. It's pretty interesting, man. He's from Hoboken, which really, when I heard that story about how the Italians weren't, you know, it was different. Like, the Muslims were all crying now. 100 years ago, those were the Italians. Mm-hmm. You know, 100 years ago, they were talking Chinese people over a cliff for the railroads with dynamite. Is that true? Did you ever hear about that? When they built the railroads,
the craziest statement / question.
The Chinese people were like, everybody suffered in this country.
Yeah, well, they definitely, the Chinese people who built the
railroads. Like,
yeah,
they would like fucking play the 21st finger is it, and whoever was it strapped dynamite around them. They threw them over.
What?
I swear, man, somebody will fucking say this to you. Like, all these races suffered, you know.
Yeah,
but
they've been walking on the railroad.
Yeah, like that's why when you go to Wyoming, there's a Chinese restaurant. I didn't know that shit. You ever go to Wyoming? You're like, why is there a Chinese restaurant in Cheyenne, Wyoming? And they're like, oh, because after they built the railroads, they said, let's just stay here.
Wow, that's interesting. I never really thought about that. But wasn't there a place we went to? Was it Vancouver that we went to? We went to some museum that showed like how all the Chinese immigrants wound up in Vancouver. I don't think it was the railroad, or I forget what it was. But it's interesting when you have like these pockets. Like there's pockets of like certain parts of Chinatown where those people just never assimilated. Like we just stay right here. Everything's in Chinese. The signs are all in Chinese. We're good. They don't learn English. They just stopped. They decided we'll just make this China West right here, just for a couple blocks.
Yeah, wasn't there like some mayor or something, or there was some kind of guy that was from China that came over there that invited like everybody over there?
Everybody where?
Into Vancouver.
Oh, that's interesting. I wonder.
I forget. There was like some story about that.
Yeah, I wish I paid attention.
Yeah.
First off, the oldest Chinatown was in Cuba, up to like 61 or 58. One of the biggest Chinatowns outside of China was in Havana, Cuba. And in fact, after Fidel took over, he never left them. He left those Chinese people alone.
So there's still a lot of Chinese people in
Cuba? They speak Spanish. They speak Cuban.
Whoa.
And if you go to 79th Street and Broadway, by our friends, where a friend's office used to be, right there, there's a place called La Caridad. It's a Cuban-Chinese plate. I sent Ari there. You get pork fried rice with a pork chop and black beans. It's fucking ridiculous.
What?
And it's Chinese people speaking Spanish.
What does it sound like?
Número cuatro con frijoles negros. And they talk, but they talk Chinese style, but Spanish.
Let me hear what that sounds like. What does it sound like?
Like really fast. Like let's say I say, dame una orden número cuatro de frijoles negros y arroz chino.
That's how you would say
That's
it?
how I'd say it.
Right.
They'd say, dame una orden de arroz chino con habichuela. And they talk really fast.
Wow.
To see a Chinese person speak Spanish will blow your fucking mind. Will blow your mind. So if you ever have I even sent Opie there. Opie ended up going there. So I was on Opie and Anthony talking about how that's a weird restaurant. If you go in there high, be prepared to go into shock.
Wow.
And when I was younger, there were more. They were like Campana China, that's the Chinese bell. There was a couple more, like in where I came from, in West New York, there, Jersey.
That's crazy. That's like a thing. Like if you see a Chinese guy with an English accent, you go, "Whoa, hey, what's going on here?" You know, like it doesn't assimilate. But that might be the biggest one.
That's the biggest one.
Yeah,
And
a
when you
Chinese
see
person with a Cuban accent speaking Spanish.
And
Faster
super
than
fast.
shit.
Fast as
Why
shit.
is it so fast? They just always like they're like that.
They take that
ahead of
Chinese.
us.
Well, they have a
tone,
very
the rhythm
fast way of talking.
Yeah,
you know?
Multitask.
the rhythm of the Chinese tone, like but they put it into the Spanish.
How crazy is it that there's so many different sounds that people make just to talk? Like you hear those African people that talking like clicks and they start like what? Like they just developed. That's their style. They figured out their style of making noise, and that each noise means a certain thing. And Cubans figured out this kind of like flowing, almost dancing style. And Germans have this freaking hard, you know, everything's fuck, you know. And then the Chinese people, they figured out their own thing. It's all totally different. All of them different.
And the Japanese have the grunts.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, they have their own thing.
I like when I hear Portuguese. This is what blows my mind when I watch a fight and they're talking to the interpreter. When I watch Portuguese, I understand a few words just from being Spanish. I don't understand all of them. I'm not gonna lie to you. But then it's weird. Like then you have all these countries together. But like when Sicilians talk around me, I know exactly what they're saying. They can't pull the wool over my eyes.
Right.
That island is half in Spanish. They don't even know it. When Sicilians talk, I pick more words up. You know what I'm saying? So when Portuguese say a 5-word sentence, I pick up one word and then I'll take it from there, my imagination. But when Sicilians talk, I could take 4 out of the 5 words. Like I understand it's closer to Spanish. So somewhere along the line, I always figured out we were connected somewhere. There's some French words that I understand as Spanish. Like it's kind of weird. Like it's just, I don't know if I could explain it the right way.
Well, there's like the Romance languages, right? Like Latin, like Spanish is, French is, right? Those are like what they call the Romance languages, like old school European languages that have that sort of flair to them. There's like a beauty to a lot of those older languages. You know, it's interesting just how different parts of the country develop different sounds for talking. You know, when you listen to people from like the South Pacific or another weird one is Filipinos. When you hear Filipinos, you're like, wow, that's like kind of a combination of stuff. Like theirs is like a combination of sort of like an Asian but a Spanish. There's like a flow to it. It's a weird thing, right? And a lot of Filipinos have like traditionally Spanish last names as well.
Well, they were conquered by the Spanish, right?
Yeah,
The
it was like
Spaniards or something
Spanish and
like that.
Chinese, right?
Chinese.
It's a combination of Spanish and Chinese.
And they're all Catholic.
Yeah, that's true.
Big-time
Yep,
Catholic
big-time
community
Catholic.
Filipinos.
Yeah, like Manny Pacquiao. Religious guy.
Big-time Catholic community.
Yeah.
I read something recently about how emojis are is the most advanced language that's been created recently, just because you can pretty much cross. You know, I could talk to a Japanese person by emoji to some point. And, you know, and if you think about it, that's how cavemen started. So they might have been way more advanced in their language, and we've been just shitting on them the whole time. You know?
What's pig Latin?
Well, cavemen didn't really do it in pictures. I mean, they made pictures on the wall, but we don't think that they were communicating. But they do think that hieroglyphics were like a super advanced way of communicating. We don't quite get it, you know.
There's no poop emoji type thing for that. It's more advanced, like triangles and eyeballs and stuff, right? Is that what the language looks like?
Yeah, it's all different symbols. You know, it's different things. I don't totally understand it, but there's a lot of Egyptian language was lost. A lot of their writing was lost in something called the Fire of Alexandria. Like when they burned Alexandria, I guess they burnt like a lot of like really cool shit. They destroyed all the records. Like there might have been like explanations for how they built all that shit. All of it got destroyed because it was all on like I guess a paper or papyrus, which I don't think is really a paper. I think it's like an animal skin thing, like paper made with animal skins. But yeah, those people, man, they drew on their walls. They had like their history of like their creation and all this different shit. It was all just written in all these different images. You know, they just wrote in images. Like we think that you have to write in letters because that's how we write. We write in letters. But if we never wrote in letters, we only wrote in images. I mean, we would just develop a really advanced system for communicating in images. You know, like when you look at someone's writing and you don't understand it, if you look at Portuguese or something like that, you don't understand what it means. You kind of just look at all how the little letters and everything are all smushed in together to try to make a strange sound. You know, and it doesn't click and register. But then when you read something that you absolutely know what it is, like the thought and the idea immediately enters into your head. Well, it would be way more universal if it was like images. So it does make sense.
Yeah, like, I mean, if you think about it, like, look at the old Egyptian, you know, King Tut with, like, the hand going up and one going down. And then you look at, like, our emoji system where we have, like, that one, like, Hey Felicia chick with their hand to the sideways. We know exactly what that means when a girl sends it. It's like, hey, whatever.
Right.
But if you see the Egyptian, that's kind of like the same exact.
Well, I don't know what the fuck did that mean. Why did the Egyptians hold their hand that weird way?
Was it just the Walk the Egyptian music video that I'm thinking of? Maybe they never did that.
No, they did. They did in hieroglyphs. They did.
Right? What's Pig Latin? Break that down to me.
It's like you say nay at the end of everything. And you take the first letter away, and then you wouldn't say Diaz. You would say Iaz Day. Right? Isn't that how you do it? Iaz nay.
Okay.
Yeah.
When I was a kid,
Ixnay on the Ixfay.
right,
You know,
I've heard that.
Okay.
You know, I don't even know how to say it.
There's a
but-
Spanish one when you're Cuban and they have a Pig Latin, and my mom used to talk to me in Spanish as form of communication when there was other people in the room. If she didn't want people to know what she was saying to me, it was like she ta, she thought, same thing.
Wow.
You have to do something. I forgot what, I fucking forgot what the fuck it was.
Cuban is a very interesting Spanish because it's almost like drums are playing. You know, when two Cuban people start going back and forth, it's like it's got a rhythmic quality to it.
Loud.
Yeah.
It's loud. And two Cuban people, the conversation gets louder and louder and louder, and you actually think there's an argument going on, but there's really not. There's not even at all. It's just two people who are so passionate about the subject they're talking about, i.e. baseball.
Yeah.
You know, when you get them going, don't start that fucking argument.
Well, what was the documentary that I saw where they went to Cuba and they were watching these guys pay to argue? They would pay to discuss like sports, like they'd pay to argue. They would go to this one area, and they would get together with other guys who want to argue about sports. And they'd actually they had like a ticket, and they would go in there and argue about like soccer, or baseball.
18
If
nerds.
you really know baseball, like their arguments are beautiful arguments. That thing I used to do years ago where I'd yell and then walk away.
Right.
That's Cuban. That means the conversation's over. Whatever you got to say, I don't need to hear because you're wrong.
But
that's what that means. That's that body that they argue all day about dumb music, baseball. It's interesting to them, but they detail it so much that you'll actually suck you in with the conversation,
Like that fucking Yoel Romero dude. Who more embodies Cuba and Cuban athletics than that guy? Him, he's when I think of the Cuban athletes, like Cuban super athletes, you think Yoel Romero, right?
Well, the thing that the most thing that he has about being a Cuban is that he's 38, and you don't really know.
Oh, you can't tell
Nobody knows at all if he's 38. He could be 22, Doug. He could be sucking you in, and nobody really knows. We really haven't. Those birth certificates, they went away. You just pick an age. What do you want to be? 38. None.
Well, he competed as a wrestler for a long time, so they know he's at least a certain age.
No, I'm just teasing, but
I know what you're
there's
saying.
always something with the Cuban. I remember my mom died. I told my aunt, she goes, "How old was your mom? 40." She's been 48 for 10 years, because it's true. You don't know, dog. You never know these motherfuckers' ages. They won't tell you. That last fight, he fought great, man. But
did you see the one before that where he told people to not? He was trying to say, "Don't forget this."
Right.
But they didn't get it because he's got a thick Cuban accent, the thickest. So he goes, "Don't forget Jesus. Don't forget Jesus." So people thought he was saying, "No, forget Jesus."
Okay.
There's no gay Jesus. Jesus isn't gay.
It could have been way worse, though.
But all he was saying was forget.
Don't forget Jesus.
He was saying, "Don't forget Jesus." He was just saying, I won. Don't forget Jesus.
You know why I didn't go to the weigh-in?
Why?
You know why I didn't go to that weigh-in?
Why'd you not go that way?
Because I would have gone off on him, that he would have beat up Jacare,
Right.
Luke, and Aldo and everybody in that ring that night. I know how to motivate Cubans.
Yeah.
Oh, with religion. They're radicals.
That's what you would do. You would just start talking about God?
I'm just talking about Ogun, the metal out of Cuba. And he
The
looks
metal. Wait a minute. Hold on.
There's a out of Ogun, and he's the one he's the metal worker. He's the fucking built. When you go on YouTube, look for Ogun. He's always a big yoked black guy that lives in the jungle, and he only comes out when there's a problem. So if I would have seen Yoel Romero that day, I would have said, "Hijo Ogun," and I would have got his blood going.
Oh my God.
I would have got his blood going and shit. Dog, I started doing that to Anderson Silva when I first met him, and I remember one day in the hallway, he couldn't take his eyes off me. People were talking to him. They kept looking back. What the fuck was saying? Because it's big in Brazilian. It's big in Brazilian. So I would have started saying, "Oye, tú eres hijo Gun. Oye, Ogi." And then I would have started saying who my mother is.
Whoa.
Yo soy hijo de la Santísima Caridad del Cobre. Y te estoy diciendo que le tiene que meter leña. Yo te estoy diciendo que le tiene que meter
Jesus.
galletazo hasta por gusto.
Is that
They
the-
would have gone. Look at Ogun.
That's the dude?
That's Joe Romero. Look at him. That's
It does
Ogun.
look like him.
That's all black, muscular Cuban dudes that look like that. You fire them up, tell them they're Ogun's son, and they go
Sounds
fucking
racist
nuts.
somehow.
That's Ogun's son and shit. I'll get you
Wow.
fucking fired up with all
How
those
come I
images.
never heard this before?
Because this is huge in Cuba.
Who's this guy?
This guy right here.
That's Ogun. See, he's
So there's like a series of black porn films with these guys shirtless, six-pack, and covered in oil.
This is the
Jesus Christ.
This is the god of the jungle, and he is in charge of machinery. When machinery goes bad and shit like that, you have to pray to him. He has all the weapons of metal. He just shows up with metal and starts. He has a metal axe, a metal and everything.
That's
and,
hilarious.
And that's why I would have busted him with that. I would have gotten to his deal with Ogun, and that takes over Jesus in Cuba. That's what you were brought up on. You heard that growing up. So even if you converted to Christianity later on, that'll still get under your fucking skin. Like, I'd still rattle your cage. Bro, if I would have started saying that shit, so we would have thrown everybody out of the ring. John McCarthy. It would have been that episode of Curly and the Little Rascals when they fought, not Little Rascals, Three Stooges. They wanted Curly to wrestle for a benefit. But the problem was whenever Curly smelled wild hyacinth, he went fucking nuts. So he's on the bottom of the pile, the guy's beating him, and all of a sudden Mo comes over and makes him sniff the fucking thing. Curly pushes him off him.
What is it called? Wild hyacinth?
Wild hyacinth, like
What is it?
Like something, like
a smelling salt
or
type of
something.
thing?
You know, this is like in the 40s or whenever
Right.
where it was made. And all of a sudden you flash back, and you just see Curly hitting everybody. People are coming up, and then he gets a hold of the bell. And he starts clocking people with the bell from the wild hyacinths, and they flip over to Curly, hitting people with the bell. And all of a sudden, they flip over to the middle of the ring, and they're all piled on top of each other, dog. He knocked out 18 people with that fucking bell. That's what I would have done to Joe Romero that day. He would have gone into the audience, banged you with fucking big, what's his name? Goldberg.
I felt bad when that whole forget Jesus thing went down. It was so bad. Everybody was piling on him. They all just assumed it was really bad because you gotta know that Cuban accent. The T's become wise. It's just that's how they do it. And in a thick accent like that, like nobody figured it out. It was weird. It was weird to watch. They were all like he's making a statement against gay people. And like, oh man.
I thought when I heard it, I was like, this mother, because half of Cuba is pro-gay.
Right.
And the other half of Cuba, they'll take you shark hunting.
But didn't you understand what he was saying, seeing as you speak Spanish
No,
with a
I
Cuban
didn't.
accent?
No.
You didn't get it. Wow.
I didn't, I'm half deaf, so I really didn't hear
Oh, okay.
what the fuck he was saying. And
That's why you're always screaming.
yeah, that's why I'm always.
Yeah, I kind of heard about it after they had already figured out what it was. So I didn't. But when I heard it, I was like, yeah, that's what he's saying. He's saying, don't forget Jesus. He's fucking Cuban. It's like, don't forget Jesus. Don't forget. No forget. And, that's him saying, don't forget Jesus.
He fucking loves you.
I think I've beaten it into the ground. I love him.
I could tell the way he says your name. Joe Rogan. Hablaste un momentico.
Dude, it's an honor.
Oh, my God. He loves you. I could tell how he's excited. The thing that they should do that the UFC always misses is just tape. The best corners in the business are George A. Masvidal and Yoel Romero. And I hear it very because the things they say are ridiculous.
What are they saying?
They're ridiculous.
They're saying it in Spanish?
Yeah.
Cuban Spanish?
One
What are they
time
saying?
I was hearing Georgie Montalval's trainer saying,
Masvidal.
Métele un galletazo. You know what a galletazo is? An open-handed bit slap. You can't do that. And the guy's like, oh, yeah, métele un galletazo.
So he's saying, he must have hurt his hand.
That's Cubanismo. Métele un galletazo.
Right.
You can't smack somebody, but in our mind, métele un galletazo fires you up. Está bien, métele un galletazo.
Oh, I get it.
Listen to it. Remember, a bit slap is a bit slap. In Cuban, it's un manatazo, un avión. Oh, man, he was saying, métele un avión. You know what an avión is?
What?
An airplane. That means hit him with one of these things that come across that look like a wild punch. Eso fue un avión. So he talked to a Cuban. One time they were interviewing Stevenson in like the 70s, and they go, so Stevenson, what happened? Guess what? And the guy's like, trying to, and Stevenson said it, and I almost died as a little kid. No pasó nada, metí un avión. I hit him with a plane. That's what they're called in Spanish. Metí un avión, compadre. Metí un avión.
What a great language.
No. And it has so many different meanings. And the truth of the matter is, it's such a funny language because they say it. Like one time, one of the nicest things you ever said to me is you were stuck in an airport, and all of a sudden you heard this party going on at 7 in the morning. People were delayed, and you looked over and they were Cubans. And they were like, I got you that day. That's when I really got you. I got you. It ain't you. It's your culture. Like they're a little,
Well, I remember that day very well. These people were having fun, man. They were speaking Spanish with clearly Cuban accents. They were dancing. They were like, the little girl was dancing with the father was dancing. They were playing music out of their phone. I was like, look at these fucking people. They don't give a fuck. They're just here having a good time. It's beautiful. So, the one thing that I don't know too much about politics, and I don't know too much about like the embargo and how it all went down. I know very little of it, honestly. But what I do know is something strange about a culture like Cuba that's kind of existed outside of the influence of the United States, purely. I mean, obviously we're only 90 miles away, but since there was an embargo and there's all this shit that was going on back and forth between the two countries, they kind of existed in their own space. And when you see it, like in video, and you see like the cars, all 1950s cars done up beautifully, and people are driving them around. They put like diesel engines in some of them and shit. They're all like self-sustaining. And you look at these people and you see the flowing style of their language and how they live, and it's all right there. It's fucking 90 miles from Miami. It's nothing. If you could drive there in a car, it would take you an hour and a half. It's closer than San Diego. And it's a totally different world. That essentially existed with very little U.S. influence, other than the fact that we're close by and they have to deal with us. But other than that, I mean, they're doing their own thing down there, and they athletes. Jesus fucking Christ! How many countries that are that small produce the kind of athletes that Cuba has? Just think about how many baseball players have defected and become like major league baseball players. How many boxers have defected and become world champions? Like, there's a lot of like super high level boxers that come over there from there. Judo guys like Hector Lombard, I mean, that caliber of athlete, like Jesus Christ. A lot of them come from Cuba. Look at Hector Lombard and Yoel Romero, both what you would call what the fuck athletes. You look at both of them, you go, what the fuck?
And I'm thinking, what did they lift in Cuba that got them that big? They eat 2 eggs a fucking year in Cuba. What protein source? They got no juice in Cuba. How do you get that fucking big? And I've seen, listen, when I went home, I went with my wife and the baby to New York. And one day I said, listen, before we go into the city and shit, let me take you to my neighborhood. I took him to the actual park I used to play in, where I used to see some crazy shit. And I sat across the street from Carmine Balzano's house, the guy that shot the guy 7 times in self-defense and all that shit and got away with it, and they took away his pension. And I'm just staring at the house, and I'm like, I remember being out here when the FBI had that house surrounded, and they fucking found Patty Hearst's machine gun in that house. That's how deep Carmine was. Dog, and he was a cop. That's how deep this guy was in my hometown. And I'm going through the, when we were kids, we had to do the attic. And we were finding money in the attic, dog. Hundreds and 20s and 50s. Whoever had the house before that had so much money they were using it as insulation.
What?
Like, this is crazy. I'm thinking about all these things, but while all this is going on, it's me, my wife, and the baby, and a guy and his little girl. And my daughter's kind of mingling with the little girl, and it's a beautiful day in Jersey. There's leaves out and everything. And all of a sudden, the guy's getting ready to leave, and I just said, "Hey, man, how are you?" And I went to say, "Do you live around here?" Just to see if that's kids come to the park. I go, "You live around here, man?" And he goes, "Perdóname." And I go, "You live around here?" And he goes, "Me no." And I go, "Tú eres cubano?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "How long you been here?" 8 days. Him and his daughter had been here 8 days. They had gotten here like the day after Thanksgiving. So right away, they offered me a Cuban cigarette, which I smoked. I smoked a communist cigarette with the guy, just talking to him, just to feel where he was coming from.
Right.
And he was telling me how you're basically poor unless you tell you have to defect into professionalism. There's a word that you defect in the country, and now you work for yourself. So this guy was 48, and he was a bicycle guy that 2 people sit in the back and drive you around town. So what he was making in one day, he was making in a month. That's why they let him defect so quickly. They let him out of the country because you have to claim that first, that you don't want to be a professional. He was telling me all this shit. I tell you, man, I had tears in my eyes when he was telling me I asked him what a daily menu was. Like he said he came here and saw an Italian sandwich. He goes, "Coño, soy italiano, son de pinga." That Italian sandwich, coño, I slept for 15 hours. He goes, that was tremendous. They'd never seen it. How can a man be 48 years old and never see an Italian sandwich? Are you fucking kidding me? I went home.
So what kind of menu did he say he had?
In Cuba, I think you get a dozen eggs per month.
That's it?
For a family of 5.
Wow.
You know, the coffee, you get like 1 pouch a month, and you have to re-keep. I bought him a cup of coffee. He's like, I tasted the coffee for the first time in my life. You have to keep running the filter through that coffee until there's really nothing left. And then they do things to bring that coffee back. You spray Windex in it or something. He was telling me something fucking ridiculous that you sit there and go, unbelievable what they do for coffee and the liberties we have, you know? Unfucking believable.
Well, a lot of it was because the U.S. stopped doing trade with them, right? I mean, that was a big part of it. That was
here's the clinker,
after
guys.
the Bay of Pigs.
Yeah, they got nothing. You know, I've heard from people that they went to Cuba and they seen Washington apples at the hotels. You know, like the hotels were getting taken care of for tourism. But everybody else lives like savages. But here's where the conversation gets best. The guy's been here 8 days. He already had a fucking job. Already had a fucking job in Sea Caucus. I go, "How's your English?" He goes, "It's coming along, but I work with a bunch of Polacks, and they don't speak English, so we're kind of confused, but we make it work." Oh, my God. He was fucking hilarious. And Joe Rogan, you know me, dog. I turned around, I went in my pocket, and I had $200 bills in the 20. And I said, "Do me a favor. I got a sister in Cuba. It would mean the world to me if you took these 2 yardsticks." And he goes, "I can't do it." He wouldn't take my money, dog. I go, "I got a sister in Cuba. You just got here." I go, "Buy your daughter something nice out of respect, you know?
Right.
I don't know who you are." He wouldn't take my $2.
Wow.
I sat there and I go, "Wow, that's pride."
Yeah.
That's pride. He wouldn't take my money, dog. And I just,
Yeah.
you know, people ask you for money all the time. This guy really fucking needs it. He wouldn't take it. He still had Cuban cigarettes. He had not smoking. And that's why I said to him, I go, "Go buy yourself a fucking carton of cigarettes."
How did he get in?
His daughter. His daughter defected with the mother when she was 3. And, you know, they leave, and he stayed and started another family.
Wow.
Like, that's it. Can you imagine one day, like, that's it, Mrs. Rogan, I got to go back and take care, and I'll get you back guys in 3 years.
Well, a lot of boxers, that happened to, what is that trainer? Diaz, the guy who works with Pedro Diaz?
Yeah,
he works with Vitor, works with a lot of those other guys. He left family back home. They did one of the boxing pieces, the in-depth boxing pieces on him. You know, he just realized that he just, to fulfill his dream of being a professional boxing trainer, he's got to escape. That's got to be so hard, man, to leave your loved ones behind just because you know, like, your life is fucked here. Like, I wonder if they're going to be able to get back now. Like, how does that happen now? If we opened up trade with Cuba.
So they did the first flight of LAX. You guys saw that. And they gave away little chocolate cigars. Like, it's a fucking party for these people.
So are we, like, freely allowed to go to Cuba now?
Done. That's it.
Wow.
You go with the missus.
Let's go.
Right from LAX.
Wow.
Right from
Is it
fucking
dangerous?
American Airlines. No. Listen, this is 9 out of 10 people will tell you this. 9 out of 10 people go, "Listen, bro, the poverty breaks your heart. The food kind of sucks. But the people, shit, that's a different level of heart. You sit there and go, wow, these people have nothing. Why do they act this way? If I had what these people had, I would not be a nice person at all. They say those people, some Eric Myers, some comic from the store pulled me aside 3 weeks ago and he goes, hey man, I want to give you a present. I don't even know the comic. I see him up there a lot. I'm saying Eric Myers. And he goes, I went to Cuba and somebody robbed my thing on the plane and a Cuban family took me in for 4 days and fed me. Wow. He goes, they had like 2 pork chops. He was telling me, he goes, I never felt that way. He goes, they're freaking beautiful people. Everything sucks, but the people take it to the next level.
Isn't that crazy though? Because that's what everybody wants. Everybody wants a community filled with really nice people like that. That's what everybody wants. Everybody wants people to look out for each other, warm, friendly, funny people, right?
That's it.
So I mean, I don't want to say this because I don't believe it, but does communism work? Does it make better people? I mean, if you're in this small environment like that and you're forced to work together, because the United States cuts your country off. And so, I mean, I don't know who they do trade with mostly, but that had to hurt them financially. That had to hurt their quality of life in a big way, right? But
I don't even think they know what communism is. Like the conversations I've had face-to-face with my cousins at where we go for pastrami sandwiches, and we went to a Cuban place while they were in L.A., communism didn't come up one time. I don't have the heart to bring it up or what it's like. I don't want to know.
But they know that other people can do whatever they want and work anywhere they want.
When I went to, what's the place we go to? What's the place we go to for pastrami? And we were at the store. Cantor's.
Cantor's.
We went to Cantor's and they started singing "Stairway to Heaven." And died, and how they had to sneak the album around. Like they still had albums. We're talking about CDs here.
Yeah.
They had vinyl, you know. And they were like, you have no idea. Like, if you get caught with that vinyl, you go to jail. Wow. Go to jail for vinyl. You go to jail here for having a pound of coke. You know what I'm saying? A fucking album. You go to jail, they write you up. You got to go through some process. You might lose your job, you know. And they were singing Stairway to Heaven. And the way they sang it, and we hear it, is 2 different worlds, man. It was like, they sang it with heart. Like, this was big to them. You know, you don't know the overwhelming feeling when you come to America. People don't know the first time you learn a sentence to a fucking song. You know how big that is? The first time you learn how to say cool. 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 Oh, cool. And then they'll still fuck it up. Coño, que cool. Coño, que cool. You know? Cool. You have no idea what it means to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, to really absorb this, to be an American is huge to an outsider. We take this for granted every fucking day. I see these jerk-offs walking around. They have no fucking idea. They have no idea until you talk to somebody Cuban or you talk to somebody from a country that they've been kind of fucked up. You know, hey, listen, man, when I lived in Boulder, I got nothing to hide. One of my best friends was a bad-ass Muslim dude, and he wasn't radical. And the reason why I'm here is because he taught me how to fucking read and write. He helped me with my GED. His name was Muhammad Zabib. I'll never forget that motherfucker. And I cracked jokes on all that shit, but that was my boy when I lived in Boulder. He used to bring me hash. I used to make him smoke reefer. He taught me how to smoke a cigarette with tobacco. You know, the Egyptians, whatever those people, they fucking get the fucking tobacco with the weed and the hash. I almost had a heart attack, though. And he's over there blasting this fucking thing like you know. It's, and I used to talk to him, like, how is it? And he would tell me, look at these fucking unappreciative Americans. He would say it to me all the fucking time. How he came here, he was 9, and the first time he sang a Beatles song, he almost fucking died. Like, to sing a whole Beatles song, you know, like Let It Be or something like that. That was fucking amazing to him, to learn another language. It was so overwhelming, you know, to come from some place where you hear gunfire every night. Can you imagine living in Israel and hearing machine gun every night? That's how you fucking go to bed. And all of a sudden you come here and you move to Studio City and you're gluten-free.
I had a friend of mine named Shuki. He was from Israel. He was a kickboxing trainer, Majiro Gym. And he had a place in Tarzana for a while. And that's where I met him. And he's an Israeli dude. And him and his family, his wife was Israeli, his kids. And I had dinner over his house once after we worked out. And they brought out bongo drums, dude. And they start playing bongo drums. He's playing bongo drums. And his wife starts dancing. And his kid gets up and starts dancing. And I was like, wow, like they're not even drunk, dude. There's not even any alcohol. We're drinking water. They just start dancing, like playing the drums and dancing. And I go, you guys are so happy. Like, you're so, he goes, you know why? He goes, in Israel, I'm doing a terrible accent. In Israel, every day, like, could be death. Every day, could be more war. Every day. So when it's not, it's party, party, party. And, it's just, and that's what he's doing. They're, like, eating this cool, they had, like, Israeli food. You know, I don't want to fuck up the names of the food because this was quite a few years ago. But they were eating, like, the traditional Israeli food and playing the bongo drums, and the lady was dancing. The little kid, he has a little son. His son was dancing. I was like, wow. Like, I felt privileged that they had showed me that. You know, like I don't know anybody like you. Like, here I'm hanging out with you. Like, this is their regular night for them. They do this shit all the time. They come home. He comes home from training people. He busts out the bongo drums. The wife starts dancing. They start having a little party. Like, that's just, they're free. They're like loose. And the way he described it, he was like, in Israel, it's just so dangerous. You know, especially this is like early 2000s, you know. It's always dangerous over there, though. There's always something going on. They're always involved in conflict. Mandatory, military is mandatory. You have to join the military for a certain amount of years. Everybody's military. Everybody's trained. So it's a whole country of like, and there's like a deep camaraderie because there's not that many of them, and they're a small country surrounded by a lot of Arab countries. And then you add on top of that, the fucking partying.
Have you ever been at the store when Israeli Death Squad fans come over? You've seen them? Have you seen them at the store?
Yes.
They are. Remember the people you called me and said they were waiting for you? I got stuck at that fucking
Yeah.
dumb movie premiere. Remember? Those are Israelis.
Yeah.
When Israelis come to the store, you better be prepared. They come heavy duty to the store. I've been up there a couple Tuesdays, and 3 of them have stuck up on me. We're from Israel. Where's the flying Jew? We want to party. Where's the stars of death? They're fucking nuts. And you gotta love them. You gotta love them. And they were comics. From listening to Rogan Experience, they started doing comedy. I guess Israel's got a big comedy scene there now.
It's just starting now.
It's just starting, and they fucking want to be rough comics. So the one kid's like, I'm trying to do fucking Hitler jokes, and they're throwing me out of all these places. I'm fucking howling. I'm howling. People are like, what is he talking about? He's like, I'm doing these dirty Hitler jokes, and then Israeli people throwing me out of restaurants and shit. So he goes, I'm coming to America to do Hitler jokes.
I'm coming to
Nothing but heart. Nothing but heart, these motherfuckers. I'm sitting there going, oh no. Where's the flying Jew? We want to meet him.
I'm coming to America to do Hitler jokes.
Oh my God. He was pissed, this kid. He was serious. He's like, dog, my brother's a little rough, man. He goes, I'm up there doing Nazi jokes and shit. They throw me out of the comedy venues.
I actually had him on the Ice House Chronicles.
Did you? You had
yeah.
that crazy
I was like, dude, you're
motherfucker?
only in town once, so
I'm telling you. That crazy.
What's his name?
What was his name? Nice kid.
Nice
And
guy.
There was 2 guys.
Nice
There was 2 guys.
Johnny Nice Guy.
And then they came.
Well, let's find his name out.
Then
Find
a
his
couple
name if you
weeks
can.
ago,
Do you have it on your
a
phone?
couple
Maybe.
came. An Israeli couple came. They had just gotten married on their honeymoon. They came to the comedy store. That was their honeymoon. And they were nuts, bro. They had the bucket with the booze. They were yelling. They came out, took pictures, hugs, yelling, we love it. Yeah, though, this kid was really... Yeah, that's right. I'm telling you. That night I left, I was like, this is real. We're getting motherfuckers from Israel to come over here to meet Death Squad and do comedy.
And he was really funny.
And he was really funny. Joe,
Did he do stand-up? Did he do
yeah, he
the
did
show?
He did Kill Tony. That's how I met him. And then I invited him to the Ice House because, like, if somebody does really good on Kill Tony, I'll invite him on to the Friday
Right,
show.
right.
And so he was great, and he did
great,
the podcast and everything.
What's his name?
I'm looking at trying to find it. It was a while.
He
That's
went back
awesome.
to Israel, and he's coming back.
Yeah.
Because he sent me an email. I had a blast.
That's awesome. You know, we were getting a lot of Australian people showing up at the store.
Yeah.
Australian people at the store and at the Ice House, too. And they go on, like, these comedy tourist vacations. Like, Australia, they get, like, a month off of work. Like, they don't, like, we get, if you're lucky, if you have a really good company, you get 2 weeks off, right? And they usually encourage you to not take both those weeks, right? They'll incentivize you, right? Isn't that how it works normally? But in Australia, I think they get a whole month off. So I think these motherfuckers just go on vacation. They just go chill places.
You know, Joe Rogan, you get into comedy, Jamie, you know, whatever you do well in whatever market you start in, you come to LA or New York and you succeed, and they value, you know, the whatever success you think it is, getting on a TV show or movies, or just becoming a really funny comic and working. I never dreamed of what's going on now. Every time I wake up and my feet hit the floor, I thank God for what's going on now. I don't want to do movies. I don't want to do TV. I just want this movement to keep growing. This is not what I intended. This is all new to me, man. This is all new to me. And nobody asked for this. Most comics ask for success, to be rich and famous. The success we're getting is something different, man. We're fucking reaching the globe. You know, in its fucking heyday, and I'm not saying that, you know, yeah, Howard was big here. These little podcasts are reaching the fucking globe, Joe Rogan.
Was that his name?
I think so.
You know, when I'm at the store and somebody comes up to me from different from Sweden or Finland or wherever they're from, that's not California, and they're like, we came out to the store to see you, and they're doing these vacations. This is, and you get in your car.
Can you pronounce that?
And you drive home, and you don't even know where this is coming from. Last night, some girl came from like Hong Kong and gave me a present up at the flicking Hong Kong Gardens in Ventura last night. She was here for Christmas. She was like, listen to you in Hong Kong.
Wow.
You never dreamt of that.
No.
And that's a way different type of success, man.
Well, there's definitely something happening because of these podcasts where you're getting this connection with people. Like I did shows in Australia, and they might as well have been in Irvine. You know, just a bunch of cool people. They just had different accents. What's his name? Tal Mordehai? What is it?
Tal Mordehai Jr.
Tal Mordehai.
TALNAVEJR on Twitter.
All right. I'll check that dude out. But yeah, we never thought this. I mean, Brian, this is like, we're almost at our 6th anniversary, right?
I know.
This is our 6th
It
anniversary,
was
like right around
Christmas
now.
Eve, actually. Wasn't it? Or is it New Year's Eve?
Somewhere around now. Somewhere in this area. I want to say it was the 29th.
No, I remember it was Christmas Eve because it was weird doing it on Christmas Eve. I'm pretty sure it was.
It was totally this month.
Yeah.
Whenever it was definitely this month. 6 years ago. Just looking around on Ustream. Just answering questions, you know?
The pre-HIV days.
Bored.
It's just I had a good time last night, and it's weird. I do that Hong Kong Gardens. I'll tell you why I like this place. I like the comedy scene.
Like a Ventura comedy scene.
I like the Ventura comedy scene because it reminds me of. They have a porn comic. They have black comics.
What's that mean?
They
Porn
got Mexican.
comic?
She's a chick that does porn as a comedian. I was thinking of doing that, is having two people behind me and me doing like 3 minutes.
It's a good move.
And I was just thinking about doing this.
What
You know
kind of
how
people?
Seinfeld does comedy and cars, coffee with cars. I don't want to see nobody drinking coffee. What if I did stand-up and behind me there's a bed and there's a chick getting plowed for 3 minutes and I just do a bit and then we fucking end the bit. That's it.
Yeah, if you could get them in the right position where your head covers all the naughty parts.
What do you think?
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Like, you can see like the top of his ass, like as he peaks, like right above the backyard, and that's it. It's just the top of his ass is all
But
we
isn't
can see.
YouTube like Sons of Anarchy? You can see that guy fucking a chick.
Yeah.
They don't show his it's like late night
Right.
cable. It's not HBO. Can't you show like a guy's muffler while you're doing stand-up with a suit and a tuxedo on?
on
I don't
YouTube.
think you can show buttholes on, but you can show a butt. Like, as long as you don't see the actual hole. You could show a naked butt.
On
You show a
YouTube.
yeah, definitely. Naked man or woman's butt. But you
don't
can't
think so.
you can't show the hole. Yeah, you can. You can
During
show,
sex, even, I mean,
maybe.
if they were just sitting there with a butt in the air, maybe. But if
Well, I
it's
think
fucking,
with YouTube, all it takes is a few people complaining,
Yeah.
and you get taken down. Like, you can get taken down for shit, or they make it. You click on that thing that says you're over 18. You know, they could set it up like that.
except that I saw somebody, I think Christina Pajitsky, post a natural childbirth video the other day that was on YouTube, and that was one of the most graphical, disgusting things.
Yeah,
I mean,
but it's
beautiful,
nature.
beautiful.
Oh,
nature.
Jesus Christ. But that scene up there, it's just a bunch of young guys at the club broke their balls, and now they have open mic 7 nights a week. So if the club owner wouldn't have broken their balls,
Right.
these kids wouldn't have done that. You know, you have always been one of those guys that a lot of clubs in the beginning, you know, you were too dirty for a lot of clubs. That's why you worked at Dick Doherty rooms because.
Yeah.
But it's so weird. So when you represent that, I'm one of those guys. I didn't, you know. I had a fucking Seattle Underground was the one where I nurtured with Ron Reed in those days because that was a club and they accepted crazy people. But I could, yeah, all of us, we were all up there.
You know the difference when you're young and you suck, which is I definitely did, and you're not dirty. At least you're not hurting anybody's feelings. You're not offensive. But if you're young and you suck and you're dirty, you're disgusting. Like, you're going to just say the most disgusting. You're not going to know where the line is, so you're going to fuck up.
Yeah, but the first 18 months of my comedy career, I was clean. Until I saw Lenny Clark's video, and then I started going off a little bit more.
Really? 18 months?
Yeah, because everybody put this fear of God
Right,
into me.
right.
So I used to wear like a nerdy suit and go up there and tell fucking jokes about whatever.
Well, I've always said that you were the guy that surprised me the most with how you figured comedy out. Like, almost, you hit this point. Like, when I first met you and you were first doing the store, you would be the funniest guy in the world in that parking lot. Like, we would all hang out in the parking lot, and you would just be killing everybody in the parking lot. But then you would get on stage and you would stiffen up. Like, you didn't have the same relaxed way that you had.
I couldn't convert what I was doing outside the stage to the stage.
Yeah.
It's funny how I had this conversation yesterday with a guy named Charlie Barnett.
Yeah.
That when I watched Charlie Barnett, I really, really got it because he was the first guy. You know how people say, well, he's a one-trick pony. Okay, but at least he brings himself to. Charlie Barnett was a stand-up comic at Washington Square Park with Dave Chappelle as an apprentice.
Right.
As a fucking apprentice.
Yeah.
And then he did DC Cab, and then he did a couple serious seasons of Miami Vice till he beat up Don Johnson because he was just crazy, the Noog Man, whatever his name was. But he transformed who he was on the stage and in person to the screen, which is, I always looked at, that's really fucking hard. And that's what I always wanted to do, not in the screen, but just the stage, how to get Joey Diaz on the stage. I didn't really want people to see the real Joey Diaz. I always was ashamed of Joey Diaz, so I didn't people really want to see Joey Diaz, so I worked clean. But then I watched that Dice thing again and Lenny Clark, because I got on stage because of Dice. But people were like, oh, you don't want to be dirty because people won't give you work. So I actually fell for that shit.
We all did.
And then I wore the suit like Lenny Clark but I couldn't sell a joke in the suit even if I fucking wanted to. I couldn't sell it in a suit. And that's where eventually I lost the suit. You know, you just have to lose things and you're just learning through a process, you know. And at the store, you know where I got it? In the belly room one night. That's where it came to me. Wheels was doing a show on a Thursday night at 11. There was like 13 people up there, and I was bombing anyway. And I remember I turned to my side, and for some reason I took myself back to a corner. I watched that movie with Al Pacino and about football, and he has a great speech for Jamie Foxx one time. He brings him to the side, and he goes, listen, man, we got 2 minutes on the clock. We're going back to when you were a kid. Your mom just called you in for dinner. You got one play left. Remember, he used to run to the car and make a left, do the same thing, and he scored a touchdown. And sometimes we forget about that. So what I did was I twisted my body around, and I put myself on the corner of 78 and Kennedy Boulevard, where I used to make fun of this guy with the limp, look at that janitor with the one eye, and that's when it started. I stopped looking at them, and I remembered who I was. I was letting them judge me with their eyes, and I turned that, and I'll never forget that. I remember going home and going, I'm onto something. And then little by little, I started being me more up on stage.
It was real quick.
And I stopped listening. The problem is we listen. Well, they won't do this unless you're clean. Oh, if you go for a showcase at the Improv, you can't do this. You have to be yourself. And unless you're going to be yourself, you'll never move forward. You'll never move forward in comedy.
Yeah.
You have to tap into this. If you don't, and everybody did it. Everybody goes up there doing hokey jokes in the beginning. It's no shame. It's no embarrassment. You do topical material and shit. But once you start comparing that topical material with what's going on in your life and you open that up, it becomes a monster. It takes a long time, though, or it takes some people longer than others. But it's the work, Joe Rogan. It's always been the work, man. You know, I was watching Chappelle the other night on stage. Jesus fucking Christ, Joe. I see the 30 years. I see your 20 years, but I see his 30 years. I see that 6 or 5 year difference. He looks at a joke really differently.
Well, he was great even when he was 19.
Yes, he was.
He's just always
at the Boston
had
Comedy Club in '93
Yeah.
for Men in Tights. I paid. It was him, Nick DiPaolo. What an open mic! And he always had something.
He's got a way of telling stories too. He's got a genuinely appealing way he delivers his material. Like, it makes you want to laugh. But you have a lot of that too, man. You have a lot of that too. You have a lot of that genuinely appealing. You have a different kind of chaos when you're on stage. But what I was going to say is that it happened really quick. Like, you went from being a guy who had a really hard time on stage most of the time, and then all of a sudden you were murdering, man. Just murdering. I remember one time we were doing gigs together. Like, we were doing gigs together in the 90s.
98.
Yeah, the late 90s, we did some road gigs. We did a bunch of road gigs. And I remember, when I knew that you had caught fire, because we were in New Jersey. And I think this might have been even before Fear Factor. We were in New Jersey, and you just caught fire. We were at that old Rascals. And I went, whoa. And I remember thinking, like, Joey, you can hit this totally different level. Like, you just figured out how to be you. And you were on stage, and a lot of it was because you were in Jersey, you know, and there were animals. You remember that club? That club was filled with savages. It was so fun. That Rascals Club, Christ, that was fun. Where was that? In West Orange, yes, West Orange. And then there was the other one down the shore, which it was really fun, but it was more like white people. It was like more relaxed. That one was filled with all sorts of freaks. It was a great club.
And down
so
the
much
block
fun.
was like a strip club from that one, like a really cold strip club with Russian chicks. They had no air conditioning. They had no heat. And the other comic took me in there. I forget who the headliner was. I was freezing in there.
Yeah.
Freezing. That was a creepy, but it was a fun Rascals. Rascals.
What was the dude's name that ran it again? The guy with the beautiful hair?
Hairdo.
What was his name?
He'll call me today.
Okay.
I have his number in there. And
not forget his name.
He'll call me today to wish me a Merry Christmas after all those years.
That's awesome.
Because somebody will tell him that last time or the time before we mentioned him, he called me that night. He owns a restaurant now in Jersey.
Really?
He goes, it does
should
something.
Visit him.
The bus boys went in there going, oh my God, Joe Rogan was talking about you. Some young college kids are like his waiters or waitresses or whatever the fuck.
He was always a good dude. He was always a good dude.
It's great to go down to the store now and just sit in the back and watch comedy and not say a word. And watch, like the other night, I watched Norm, I watched Arsenio, and I watched Ron White. I watched that. You know that he's talking about he should have taken the money now, Dave Chappelle. I almost fucking died. He goes, I should have taken the money. I should have put my 2 feet down and taken the money and shit.
He's an interesting guy, isn't he? Because he doesn't really put material out anymore. He's just killing it, writing new shit, killing it everywhere. But he's not like doing specials. I wonder if he's like thinking about doing a special.
Oh, I'm sure they've made him 10 offers to do.
Yeah, but
a
I mean, I
special.
wonder if he even wants to, because he's so different than anybody. Like, you can't predict that guy. Like, what he's done so far is so unusual. Like, they offer him this big money to do this thing, and he's like, you know what, fuck this, I'm going to Africa. Like, he goes to Africa, you know, and then he starts doing shows in parks. Like, Dave will have, like, people, maybe you never heard these stories, but he would show up with like a PA system, like a little portable PA system in a park in Seattle. And he would put this little PA system down and just start doing stand-up in the park.
Can Jeremy find something for me on YouTube?
Yeah, sure.
Jamie, can you look at Charlie Barnett on Washington Square Park?
Yeah, I met Charlie.
No, I met
Yeah.
him. I mean, it's
I've seen,
just to show Redman the gift.
Well,
Like,
we'll
if you
tell
watched-
everybody what he used to do. He used to do shows outside. Just like he would just show up and he would drop his hat on the ground and like do a stand-up comedy routine and ask people to contribute, throw money in his hat.
Wait, look at this. This is why I used to go to McSorley's and get 8 volumes for $10 and 3 mugs for $1. And
Bring it back to the beginning, Jimmy, and put the volume up
Look
so we
at
can
this,
hear it.
Redman.
The volume's not working? We got some form of a sound issue, ladies and gentlemen. But what we're seeing, for people that are just listening, is this guy, Charlie Barnett, who has since passed away. He's wearing like some red track pants and a white T-shirt and a white baseball hat. And he's got this huge group of people circling him. And he's in the middle of a park. He just set up and he's doing stand-up comedy. Like he's doing with no microphone. Here he goes.
Puerto Ricans, Puerto Ricans. We got a lot of Puerto Ricans. But I'm not gonna with the Puerto Ricans, man, because y'all born with knives. Right? You'll cut me up and I won't even know what you're saying.
People
Me
just
can
go
see
down
that
at you.
far. And when you finish, you go, que pasa, bro? Because I got into a fight with a Puerto Rican kid, and I was winning. I was bouncing around like Sugar Ray Leonard. I was bam, bam, bam. He was only about that tall. Then all of a sudden, he went like this. And I was surrounded by a small Puerto Rican family of 4,000. I like everything, man. Let me borrow it, okay?
So he
I
would
like
do these
pocketbooks. I love
shows.
pocketbooks. I like the way white women walk with their pocketbook when there's no Negroes around. I don't see no niggas. And you know what else I like about New York? I like the way different nationalities go to work. Everybody goes to work different. For instance, Caucasian businessman. I need some white people glasses.
He's like walking around borrowing shit from people. He's been holding this lady's
right there.
purse.
What year is this?
This has to be 85.
Damn, you can't see.
83.
I can touch my dick. How do white guys go to work? They got their briefcase. I can walk just like the white man going to work. Watch this, white guys.
Oh, this is so corny.
I love when they stand on the corner and go,
Yeah.
and how do black folks go to work? We be talking about, fuck it, I should get there by payday. I do
Just
Puerto
to
Rican-
just to show people what
Yeah.
it was. I mean, this is a guy outside. Listen, the reason why you have a microphone is for control.
Yeah.
He had no microphone. He's still fucking controlling him. You didn't see no. I mean, he got to the point where people were going down there.
Yeah.
This was by like a college, and my friend was a junkie, and I was like 16, and he used to come over to the city with me, and I'll buy you some Valiums. I'll go into the park, I'll get heroin, and wait for me at the bar. He would get me served. He'd get me 3 mugs of Budweiser, and I'd sit there. He'd come back when the second mug was gone, give me my 8 pills. I'd take 2 of them, and then he'd go shoot heroin, and I'd go, let me go walk around the park. And I saw this. One time I saw this, and I was in shock. I'm like, I didn't like stand-up comedy. I knew none. I knew Richard Pryor and George Carlin and David Brenner. And I'm watching this guy going, what the fuck is this? And next thing you know, I sat down, I started getting high, and I watched it. And I asked around. They said, he's here every weekend or something, and this is what he does. Then years later, I found out that he would do that for 4 or 5 hours. But he would take breaks, and Dave Chappelle would come in as a young kid. Dave Chappelle would take the bus from D.C. or something and go up there and do little sets in between. He died from banging.
Yeah.
He died from the HIV. He's the real deal, that dude. He was an old New York icon junkie.
Yeah, he was a heroin guy, right?
But it was just weird that he did. I watched all those. I didn't know that somebody had taped them. That's amazing.
I did a show with Chappelle in Montreal at the Comedy Festival in the 90s. I forget what year it was. But after the show was over, we did it at Club Soda. We go downstairs, and Dave just puts on a show, like on the street in Montreal. People just walking by. It's like, gather round, gather round. And he just starts doing stand-up. He did stand-up for like 20 people on the street. You know, like he incorporated like this, there was a telephone pole. He incorporated the pole into his routine. He had a hat. He put the hat down, asked people to put money in it. Like, and he just got off stage. So he did a professional show, went downstairs, was outside, and just said, fuck it. I'm going to do my own impromptu show out here on the street. It was fascinating. I mean, who other than Charlie and him have you ever even heard of doing that? I mean, sure, some people have done it, but those are the only 2 guys I've ever heard.
What was the black guy that did Venice Beach all the time?
Michael Collier?
Yes,
Yeah.
been a bunch of movies and
Yeah,
stuff. He did
yeah.
that stuff.
That's true, right? He did a bunch of different stuff.
Did you ever have to do a show out? Oh, yeah. He did the Milwaukee one for a bunch of kids and shit out in the tent. But did you ever do a little something?
Summerfest.
Like I had to do comedy on a bus one time for people. For people going to like a Disney event. They called me up when I was in New York, $75 like for an hour.
Oh, man.
You get on the bus and go from Secaucus to New York, and 3 comics got to get up and do comedy. What a fucking bombing that was. That was a bombing experience, bro.
Christ. Those gigs. Ugh.
I did a spot at the New York Comedy Club one time, and after I get off, I probably got 8 minutes, dog. and 6 of it is just god awful. And I get off the stage, and some guy's like, "Hey man, do you want to do my wife's birthday party?" I'm like, "Sure." And he's like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I don't know. What do you usually?" He goes, "I give you like 1,500." I said, "Done." He gives me the address in Alpine, New Jersey, off 9W. You make the right by Englewood Cliffs. I take a cab up there. I'm about to score 1,500. Me, and you know me. At that time, I'm still looking for purses. I was still a half of and klept up. So like, "You ready to go?" "Yeah." "Where's the microphone?" They're like, "There's no microphone. You got to go over by the pool. On the other side of the pool, there's rocks, and stand on top of the rocks." It's stand-up comedy. Dog, they were 80 yards away from me. I'm up there telling Godzilla jokes. Dying a slow death of death.
Godzilla jokes.
I get off. I was so embarrassed that the guy's like, "Listen, I only got like 900 in cash. You want to check?" I go, no, just give me the 900. I'll take it. I took that $900 and I walked. I started walking. Some guy hitchhiked and picked me up, and I made him drop me at the bridge. And I walked over the bridge and got like an 8-ball of coke. I was so embarrassed.
Did you really have Godzilla jokes?
Oh, yeah, I used to have a
What?
Godzilla.
Do you remember what it?
Yeah, that Godzilla would never attack New York City. Okay, because can you imagine Godzilla coming out of the Hudson and going rah, awesome, all the pollution? He'd go like this and go back in the water. Horrible. That was my big joke. That was my big joke. That was it. That was it. I thought that was, and you know, at that time, the Puerto Rican, something happened with the Puerto Rican Navy. They bumped into a barge, like some Puerto Rican cruise boat bumped into a barge on the New York side, and they broke the barge, so everybody on the boat had to jump. At the time, everybody had to jump into the flipping water, and that was the joke. I said, you know, last Tuesday in New York, a bus full of a cruise boat of Puerto Ricans hit the thing. 40 Puerto Ricans in the Hudson. That's nothing new. That was my other big closer. That was it.
That's nothing new.
It's environmental and racist.
That's it.
Somebody told me they're cleaning up the Hudson. Is that true?
Listen, they couldn't clean up the Hudson
God, can you imagine
if they wanted
bodies are
to.
in there?
You know how many fucking sperm loads I shot in there off the Binghamton boat when I was a kid? I used to go to the Binghamton boat for dinner, and they had a movie theater in Edgewater, New Jersey. Edgewater is Copland, where they shot Copland.
Right.
That's what Edgewater was supposed to be. And my friend had a restaurant, H&B Diner. I used to go down there. Exactly where they shot that bar, I used to go in there and buy little bottles of blackberry brandy for us when we were kids. And they redid all that down there. Have you seen that in New York?
No.
That is beautiful now. That's where I stay now. I stay in Edgewater.
Really?
I take the ferry over.
How long does that take?
The ferry?
Yeah.
10 minutes. I take the ferry over. I jump in my flipping cab. I go to 20th Street. I do Gotham. I do the Stand. I take a cab back to the ferry.
How hard would it be to live in New York and take a boat across from New Jersey?
Every day. People do it every day.
How many people
As a matter
have
of
their
fact,
own boats?
I gave the card to a lot of people, but I gave the card to Ari.
I would think that would be like a smart move.
Yeah.
You get
Just
a place
get
in
your own
Jersey,
boat?
and you get a boat. Yeah, you go
And
across
drive
the river.
across to the Hudson, dock
Yeah.
it, and then go do your thing.
Yeah,
Is that what Louis does? Isn't he a big boat guy? He has his own boat.
he definitely has a boat. I don't know if that's what he does, or if I think he lives in Manhattan though.
Oh.
But I mean, I feel like it wouldn't be that hard to get across that water. Like, it's just water. Just get across. It's way better than those stupid bridges. Like, if you could figure out a way to to live like that, just take Ubers on one side, park your car on the other. Like, that's the way to go,
Yeah.
right?
I love New York, but they're taking that city down eventually. You don't need to be a genius or a scholar or Nostradamus. Stupid Joey Diaz. When you pull up the Lincoln Tunnel now, dog, there's guys in fucking gear with Nazi helmets, machine guns under their arms, and dogs. And they go up to every fucking car, dog, and there's fucking 50 of them. The bridges, you see them everywhere. When I went to take my wife to the tree at the Saks Fifth Avenue, you could see the motherfucking snipers up on the fucking roofs, dog. They ain't flicking around. And when you're walking around New York, you're like, I could see this. They're really going after the bridge, like my friends work. Oh, Gino. They work at Hoboken and all those guys. And when I did the whatever factory now, I guess all these cops have to do details because they want to take that bridge out, though. And they want to take that fucking bridge out and that tunnel. That's going to be a nightmare. When I was walking around New York, I got to tell you, I could see it. I could see how it could go down, man. That's a big city with a lot of fucking people, Joe Rogan. it's tough to control all those people in that area, you know.
It's so much different than any other city, too.
My God, man.
When you get there, you just the magnitude of it all just kind of like sets in. You're like, no wonder why people can't leave this place. If you get used to this, there's no place like that place.
Never.
It's so bizarre. It's 7 million plus people smushed into the smallest little area. It's not that big. If you look at all the buildings that are tucked in, I remember I had a hotel room once, and it was on a corner. And it was like, sometimes it's cool to be on the outside. Like, I had a friend who lived in Brooklyn, and he had a cool view from the river. Like, you look from his apartment, you see the whole city skyscraper, the whole skyline. It was pretty beautiful. But there's something cool about being in the middle of it all. And this hotel I stayed at was on a corner, and I'd like look out the window on both sides and just look, and it's like a science fiction movie. Just giant constructed buildings to the left and to the right, and you're in the middle of all of it. Hundreds and hundreds of windows, everyone looking out at each other. Everyone's in there watching their little TV shows, doing their little thing. But you're in the middle of all of it, like this crazy sci-fi beehive type thing. You know, and where we live, you know, we drive to each other's houses. There's like a yard. There's a space. You're pulling your driveway. Hey, come on in. You know, park in the driveway. It's like normal stuff, you know? Like, you get out of the house. Hey, this is your house. Right over there, that's his house. And no, it's fucking stacked. Everybody's stacked. Stacked on top of stacked on top of stacked. Smashed together. Stacked. Everybody jammed into these boxes. Cars, fucking yellow cars and Ubers everywhere on the ground. No one gets anywhere when gridlock hits. Crosstown traffic. The reason why Hendrix wrote the fucking song, and that was in the 70s, okay? In the 60s, I guess he wrote it, right? That when you're in the Manhattan gridlock crosstown traffic, you're like, this is insane. Like, why the fuck would anybody live here? You can't go anywhere. It's just jam. The whole thing, jam. No one's moving anywhere. And there's so many people. And everywhere you look, there's delis and restaurants and storage units and parking lots and fucking this business and that business and this door and that door. It's all just swoop, just a vortex of energy. Just
And what they want for that shit.
Incredible.
We were in Edgewater just driving around, and we saw this thing. The next day I go, ask around, Terry. Go on the computer. Like 2 days later, she's like, oh my God. Just to move in there, they want $500,000. And then whatever your mortgage is, it's $1,700 flat just for maintenance fees.
Yeah, a lot of that. A lot of maintenance fees.
Maintenance fees a month, $1,700. And that's if you don't use the gym or the pool or the garage. If you use all that stuff, there's another $890 fee. This fee, you got to buy the water from them. She goes, it was crazy. And at the end of the day, you got a motherfucking apartment. That's all you got. You can call it condo, whatever the fuck you want to call it. It's a fucking apartment, my friend. Yeah. And yeah, you got the view of the Manhattan skyline. That's what you're paying for, the view.
Yeah. You mean, think about how much of one of those big apartment buildings must be worth. Because every one of those units is $1 million.
$1 million.
Or more. A lot of them, much more. I saw some that were like $5 million. That were like, you got to be kidding. This is a normal apartment in Silver Lake. And it was like $5 million. Like, this is crazy.
I couldn't live like that. Could you?
I could live like that if I had the experience of living there. Like, if it was normal to me. Like, I think the people that do live there, when you get used to driving around on the subway, riding around in cabs, you get used to where all the clubs are. You do your little routine. You get in the airport to take off to cities and you work the road. You get used to it. You get used to, like, Attell does it. A lot of those other guys do it. But once you get used to space, and once you get used to, like, being able to go dip out and dip back in without that much trouble, like, it's way easier to, like, live in the valley and then drive into the store on a Friday night than it would ever be if you live somewhere like that, equally far away from Manhattan, and you wanted to get in to do a spot. Like, that's a 2-hour proposition. Like, you got to be ready. You got to be ready to enter that machine, you know, especially if you're going to do it at like 7 o'clock at night. So what time are you going to leave your house? You're going to leave your house at 5:30 for your 7 o'clock show? Ugh.
Then you leave your wallet at home.
You forget your phone in the driveway.
That's what it makes sense to hit and hit. If you live in, let's say you live in Brooklyn, you got to take the train in to New York, Manhattan, something like that, right? You get used to that. I think the Tell lives in like in Brooklyn or something like that.
Right.
Even if he just takes the train in, you do 4 or 5 spots. He does the cellar, the stand, you know.
Yeah.
You do a couple spots and get back on your train and go home at 1:30.
Now with Ubers too, it's just so easy to do it. It's so easy to just use your app. Your car shows up in a couple of minutes. This is so much less hassle, Especially because like with cabs, you don't know if a cab's coming. So what are you going to do in Manhattan? You're going to call a cab company, say, come get me on this? Nobody ever does that. You try to flag one, so you try to find one. You go walking around looking for one. But now you just press a button on your phone, and they're like, we'll be there in 3 minutes. All right, cool.
But because of
They just
Uber
pull
now
up
in
to
New
you.
York, the cabs are getting easy to get. I got a cab every time I want it this time. Yeah,
Good.
real fucking fast.
Competition.
0 to 100.
Lyft just
Real
got
motherfucking
LAX.
quick. You ever take Uber yet? I taken it
Yeah.
one time. I took a black one time to a.
I've taken it a few times in New York. I use it all the time in New York. I think I could do it. Like Ari's enjoying it. He's enjoying it. He likes doing it. It would be harder for me because I have kids. I just don't think New York's like the best place for kids. And maybe I'm wrong. Just seems, first of all, that brake dust can't be good for you. And there's brake. If you feel like finding out what the fuck you breathe, go look at your wheels. Look at your car's wheels and just stick your finger inside the rim and get that black shit all over your finger. Well, it doesn't just go on your wheel and stick there only. No, as you see crazy traffic, like on Fifth Avenue or something like that. You see Broadway traffic, just bam, 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 bam. You're breathing in brake dust, 100%. That stuff's in the air. So it's not just the carbon fuel, the residue, like the exhaust from cars, whatever fires are being burned, whatever gas ovens, and it's not just that. But it's brake dust. Brake dust is everywhere. And you're getting that shit in your lungs, 100%. It's not good for you. It's just not. And they've shown, there's studies that think that living in a high populated city like New York can take as much as 10 years off your life. Just living there, doing exactly the same thing, living the exact same choices, but living in a polluted environment like downtown LA. It's probably a good example of that, right? Downtown gets funky. It gets freaking polluted.
But it's still more open than, say, New York or anything like that. You could at least see the sky in most places.
Sometimes you can. Sometimes you can. But LA gets pretty stinky, man. LA can get pretty bad. If we get stagnant and the winds don't blow and then the pollution just sits, you know how you crest, like if you come over from Encino and you see the valley and you see that fucking horrible brown cloud? That's real. That's not an illusion. And you don't see that in the desert. If you go out where there's no people, that doesn't exist. That exists because of people burning things. That you're breathing that in. Everyone's breathing that in.
In '93, I lived in New York, and I would get up at 7 and go into the city. I lived in Cliffside, but I worked in New York. And I'd go into New York and bum around, and then sometimes I'd take a shower at the gym. I joined the boxing gym, and I just would go there for the locker, basically. I would hit the bag a little. I didn't know what I was doing, and I would just go out at night. And I remember sometimes I wouldn't take a shower at the gym at 6, like I was busy, and I'd get home at 11, and I'd take a shower, and you'd see what would come out of my hair. And I'd just be walking around Manhattan, guys. I didn't go anywhere else. I'd just be walking around Manhattan, getting cabs, doing this, dropping off packages. It was, you could see, I didn't do anything.
Residue.
It was this darkness, it was like, Jesus, where the fuck have I been? And
Yeah.
I got used to it after a while, but it really stuck with me, just walking around Manhattan 6 or 7 hours would do this to me. I would get more blackheads there. My hair, when you wash it, you would see it, dirt, just not real, a lot of dirt, but you see that you have something on your skin.
Let me ask you this. Does this make sense to you? If they can make a big giant building, like the Empire State Building, they can make a big ass building. Why can't they make a big ass air filter? Well, if you're going to put up that many buildings and have that many people and that many cars, how about you build a giant air filter? I mean, they sell air filters for your house. My daughter's allergic to cats, we're finding out. So, we have 2 cats, and so now we have to shave the cats. So I've been shaving them. First of all, it's adorable when you see them.
Line cuts.
Yeah, they get the line cuts, and and then the other thing is when you shave them, it's just almost like skin. So it's just a little bit of fur, and it must feel so much better when you pet them. Because when I pet, especially the little girl, well, the big one, the boy too, but when I pet them, they just start writhing like you're making them come. They're like, wow. They love it. They love it. They love it when you're petting them, when you've shaved them all down. But we have this air cleaner that we have to put in her bedroom because she starts sneezing. We're finding out that she's not terribly allergic, but allergic enough, so we have to figure out what to do. But they make these air filters. It makes a big difference. You put them in your room, sucks all the dander and all the stuff out of the air, cleans it. It seems like if you can make a giant building, why can't you make a giant air filter that sucks all that dirty, brown, stinky air out and cleans it? Like, that can't be impossible to do. It just doesn't seem like it should be. If you can make a big building and you can make a big fan, you can make a big air cleaner. Can't you?
It makes sense. But
Am I
you'd have
making
to
sense?
clean it every 2 minutes or something.
Coming from the man who brought you parachutes on commercial airplanes.
That sucks. But a lot of people get used to the cat, allergies. I know a lot of ex-girlfriends that would first like, hey, I'm allergic to cats, and then after a few years or whatever, they would stop being as allergic. Though a lot of
Yeah, you vaccinated them with your
yeah,
That's what it is. Slowly but surely.
they can't
you get
feel
that-
anything anymore.
That non-cat allergy DNA into their body, and they assimilate it.
I was at a gas station the other day, and they were selling poppers. And I recently was at a
Amyl nitrate, you mean?
Yeah,
You
and
sure?
Yeah, it said popper. It even said like it was like the little jar and everything, and it's like. And I went to a party and I actually saw my first person actually using poppers. What?
Yeah, but I guarantee that's not the same thing. I guarantee the stuff they're selling at a gas station is not like amyl nitrate. That's highly illegal.
Is
it?
it?
Yeah, I think what they're doing is you know how those boner pills, like you buy boner pills at the gas station and, they pretend they're herbs, but it's really Cialis or Viagra or something like that. I think what these things are is something similar to that. Just how like bath salts were never really bath salts. They can just call it whatever they want. They can call it poppers, as long as it's not amyl nitrate.
What was bath salts? Really?
Bath salts they would call it bath salt so they could sell it. They would say not for human consumption, but what it really is was they had done something to meth. So they had say like, this is an idiot's way of describing this, right? Just let me get that out of the way. When you describe something like a molecule, like the chemical that your brain produces, dimethyltryptamine. It's N,N-dimethyltryptamine. That's illegal. But there's a thing called 5-MeO dimethyltryptamine that's legal because they fucked up and they didn't list it. So you could get that stuff, and it's like a cousin of DMT. It's called 5-MeO DMT. Well, that's similar to what they did with this meth thing. They would take meth, and then they would just change a little bit of it, add an oxygen molecule, add a carbon molecule, whatever they have to do, and that turns it into something different. So it's not illegal, but it'll fuck you up. Like face eating will fuck you up. So then they sell it as bath salts, saying, yeah, throw this in the bath, hop in there, wink, wink, and everybody knows you're just gonna go smoke it. And they smoke this stuff, and it blows their fucking brains out because they don't even know what it is. But you're selling like high-potency meth at truck stops. I mean, that's where they're selling it. They were selling it at those little convenient marks, those weird 24-hour gas stations. That's where they were selling it. And you could just go in and buy meth through a loophole. And so all these people were buying this shit.
Well, that's how much of an idiot I am. For years, you go into a place on the East Coast, and they always had a rose in the tube.
Yeah, it's crack pipe.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's not
Really?
really a rose. The rose is you throw the fucking rose away and
thought
smoke
about
crack
that.
out of that
It's a
thing.
crack pipe.
You didn't know that, Brian?
No, I
Legal
didn't know
way to
that's
sell a
awesome.
crack pipe.
Well, I knew it because my friend Johnny was a crackhead.
Can you believe that?
Yeah.
great.
And they sell, right? How many stores do you go to? Yeah, you're like a rose. Who would buy a rose? A crackhead would. That's
They
who-
had to figure out a way to sell those things
With a
legally.
loophole.
So they sold like a little tiny
you
glass
believe that,
vase with a rose in
I
it.
should have bought some of these because it was in West Hollywood and they were lined up and they had different logos
Look.
on it, just like I
Look at
have
that.
seen those.
Come on, man. Those are
That
DMT pipes too. That's what you smoke DMT out of.
Hilarious.
How crazy
Happy
is that? That's the
Valentine.
loophole right there.
Yeah. And then
That's the
interesting.
beauty about paying a nickel and getting an attorney and sitting with them and going, how can I sell this?
Put a flower in it, son.
So fucking great.
It's beautiful.
Can you believe, Brian?
Yeah.
I was 40 when I found out. Don't feel ashamed. I'm supposed to be the king of swing, and
It's
I'm like,
hilarious.
that's how crack pipe.
Yeah.
It is hilarious.
I keep on finding out these horrible things that I should have known a long time ago. Like on the toaster, the 1 through 10. That's how many minutes. It's not like hot and cold. You know?
Is
I
it
know,
really?
yeah.
Oh, I
know,
thought it
I
was
thought
the
it was hot.
darkness of the toast.
Yeah, I did
Yes,
too.
that's what I thought.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder why. I was like, why does 7 take so long? I'm such a fucking idiot. I'm making toast going, Jesus Christ, I need a faster toaster.
Yeah.
Something that gets you to 7 quicker.
Yeah. I had no idea that little thing when you zip up your pants, the little knob thing, if you put it down, that locks your zipper.
Down.
Like if like when you're zipping it up, the handle. Mm-hmm. If you put the handle down, It
You
locks
usually
your
leave it
zipper
up?
Well, you just kind of like zip up your pants and not think about it, and then later you're like, "Why is my zipper down?" It's because you didn't just do that extra little.
No, that one I knew. That one I knew.
You did know that one?
Yeah.
All right.
I don't understand what you're saying.
This handle thing. Like,
This right here.
Yeah, like so
Right.
this.
You put it down.
Put it down, and it locks it. That's
How's
the
it
lock.
lock it?
I don't know. That's the lock. That's the whole technology of the zipper.
Oh, I see. So it can't unlock until you lift it up.
Yes.
Oh,
Isn't
I
that
didn't
cool?
know that. I didn't know that at all. Wow.
I have like 5 more.
I just
of these things.
realized when I'm trying to do it when it's bent down that I literally can't unzip my pants. Fascinating.
Yes.
I had no idea. Well, it makes sense, right? Otherwise, it just wouldn't work. Zippers bullshit. I'm tired of zippers,
I
man.
fucking hate fucking zippers.
My zipper's always down. Someone's always like, "Your zippers are down, man."
Now it's not.
And well, it's also I don't think it matters because I wear these goddamn stretchy pants. All my pants are like fake jeans. They look like jeans. They're fake jeans. I had one that I was wearing that had fucking, it had a tie. It was a pair of diesel, and they stretch, and you tie them like sweatpants. And I would show people, and they would scream no. They would scream no, you can't wear that. You can't wear that. You're wearing stretchy pants at the time. I'm like, why? Why can't I wear
That's
that?
so funny.
People were like saying, like these girls in the comedy store, like, you can't wear those. You can't wear those. I'm like, I'm wearing them. Why can't I wear them? Why can't I wear? You can't wear pants.
Those
and
jeans
tie.
look great.
These are fantastic.
Those jeans look
Yeah,
great.
they look real.
at that.
You got me hooked on them. I don't have the good kind like that.
And you order them online?
Yeah. These are. I have no affiliation with this company. They're called Barbell jeans.
Yeah.
They're great.
I love them.
They're so stretchy. They're so stretchy. They move like sweatpants. They feel like there's no resistance. Like where I wear normal pants, I feel like I'm wearing a straight jacket now. Like
It's like wearing pajamas outside.
I got a new company that it's also, but this is a sponsor of the podcast. It's called Mizzen in Maine, and they make these clothes that are made out of this really light, stretchy material, like a button-up shirt. But you know, a button-up shirt's always like, it looks like a normal button-up shirt, but you don't feel anything. You move with it. It's like a light cotton T-shirt. It's amazing. It stretches. It moves with you everywhere you go. I just want.
Does it have the thickness look of it, or is it like, you have to have a buff body or your nipples are showing through it? You know
My
what I
nipples
mean?
probably definitely show through it because my nipples are ferocious. But it looks like a regular shirt. It doesn't look like anything unusual about it. But I'm that close to going in sweatpants and fanny pack everywhere. I'm that close.
Yeah.
I'm that close to just completely throwing in the towel.
You're
getting
done,
an
yeah.
old school Sopranos tracksuit.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want
don't
to see a
give a
walking
fuck.
stick.
I might even get like some yellow Hunter S. Thompson glasses, like just yellow, wear them indoors, outdoors, everywhere. Fuck it. And instead, Hunter S. Thompson always had the cigarette lighter. That's a vapor pen. Instead of the cigarette holder, it's the same thing as a vapor pen. Just going full yellow glasses, tracksuit, fanny pack. That's my new look. Toe shoes. I don't give a fuck. I'm gonna wear those Vibrams, those 5-finger.
You have those already?
Yeah.
And where you wear them at?
Nowhere. I hide those things. I don't want anybody to see me in
You
them.
keep them at the house?
That's fucking glasses. There's something about when you're wearing glasses like that. You have no business in reality. You're not doing business in reality. You're here for your own thing. You're here to party.
That's so crazy.
That guy was the best.
This guy was.
He was the best. But he would wear those yellow glasses.
I gotta be honest with you guys. When I saw him, I didn't know who the fuck he was.
Well,
man.
you saw him in real life in Woody Creek, right?
Yeah, I saw him. I didn't know who the fuck he was.
Man.
And then somebody told me, and then I went back down there, and then I saw Bill Murray at the fucking place. Bill Murray would go visit him.
Oh, yeah. Everybody would go visit him.
People would go visit him. How crazy is that?
Have you ever read Fear and Loathing in Las
No,
Vegas?
it's been years.
Oh, it's good. It's good, dude. He's got some great passages in it. There's some great moments that he captured on paper that just make you go, fuck. He had this ability to hit these rare patches of insight, just rare areas. You just break into these rare areas and make these passages, make these paragraphs, so you just go, whoa. Damn. Like talking with him must have been fucking fascinating.
I read the biker book.
Yeah, Hell's Angels.
That was one of the first
Yeah.
books I read.
That was the first
I
one,
didn't care who the author was. I didn't even know what an author was at that time.
What that book was, though, was like a much more of a regular journalism book. It was a book about the Hells Angels. Like, they had disputed some of the facts in it. They said that a lot of stuff he made was made up, and he tried to make it all look like a lot different than it really is. And the evidence to that was when he started doing his best work was all that. His best work was like Fear and Loathing, and the Kentucky Derby is decadent and
Derby,
depraved. Fear and Loathing on the Campaign Trail, like that stuff where he combined fiction and reality. Like that guy sunk presidential candidates. There's this guy named Ed Muskie who was running for president, and Hunter S. Thompson started talking about him bringing in a Brazilian doctor because he's addicted to Ibogaine. So he starts spreading these stories about these rumors that there's a Brazilian doctor coming to visit Ed Muskie, and he starts having mental breakdowns. This guy's on the campaign trail, and he's reading these stories about him, bringing in some Brazilian doctor, and he's fucking falling apart. Hunter's just making it up. He's just making up all this shit about him having an Ibogaine addiction, and that when he was on stage, you could see him in the full grips of an Ibogaine addiction. Nobody even knew what the fuck Ibogaine was. And so he just made up this rumor. And then when they asked him about it, he goes, no, there really was a rumor. And I started the rumor. It's just like you would joke around about mixing reality and fiction. And he would combine the two of them together. Like he was the only guy that ever did that. Like, and openly did it. Like you would read it and he would call it gonzo journalism. And you would know that, like, as you were reading it, that this wasn't all real. Like some of this stuff, it was just complete total fantasy. You know, we were right outside of Barstow when the bats, when the drugs began to take hold. Like those stories about like all the different shit that they had in the trunk when they were headed to Vegas from Barstow, the bats in the air, the fucking acid trip in the reception area of the Vegas hotel when he's like screaming out about golf shoes and he sees everybody turn into lizards. Like this is fucking bizarre shit. You know, he was a very, very unusual guy.
He took a lot of acid, bro.
He did. But he went a different way with it. What's really fascinating about him, he went like guns and living in the woods and just blowing your brains out with cocaine every night. Like he went a totally different way with it. He didn't go like the kumbaya way. You know, like all these other dudes, they got together and they sat Indian style and they played Indian music and chimes and burned incense and they went the spiritual route. And he went the other way. He went the total other way. He went get acid and then get a gun and then go outside.
He was shooting golf balls.
Yeah.
Like to put him in the hole, like he was playing golf with a gun. So he would shoot the balls to put him in a hole or something like that. Just like that. It was, you know, I was living in Snowmass Village and I was hearing different rumblings. I was still 19 or 20, so I don't know if I was allowed in that bar that much. I would just go in there with Cato, my man Cato, to get weed. That was it. That was his name was Keith Korn, and he would take me. Keith Korn, his life's mission was to get the best weed in Colorado. And I told him, from now on, you get a bag of weed, knock on my door, I'll give you the $40. So he would come to me and go, there's this guy in Woody Creek. He's got this weed. It's killing people. We got to go down to the tavern.
It was Hunter?
And no, it wasn't Hunter that was selling it.
One of Hunter's friends?
Dishwasher or something that was selling weed there or something.
How far was that from where you were living?
Maybe 10 minutes down Snowmass Village Hill, and then go loop around, and then go into Woody Creek.
So you lived in Boulder and you lived in Aspen?
I lived in a town called Basalt first, and right around the corner from Goldie Hawn and motherfucking Kurt Russell.
Damn.
On the river, on whatever river that was.
Golden
Basalt
Pond.
is a Basalt.
What's that?
Is it Golden Pond?
No, Basalt.
No, it's a
is
river. It's not a pond, you fuck.
Basalt is a little. This is Route 82, which is one of the most dangerous roads in the country. So it goes north and south. This is Aspen, right straight ahead. You have to go up 3 miles to go to Snowmass Village, and then you have to go over here to go to Woody Creek.
Okay.
But Basalt was down here, about 40 minutes from town, and you had to go up and up a hill. And in that hill, there was maybe a gun store and a restaurant, but there was a place. I was a New York City kid. And when I first saw this, I got addicted to this, worse than cocaine. I would walk from Basalt every day and walk from Holland Hills. That's where I lived. In fact, Dean Cain had a home there. And I would walk up, and back there, you go in there, you get the bro, this is the best idea ever. I'd smoke homegrown. The girl next to me was growing homegrown, and she cut it with a scissor, and it got me more high than the shit I'm paying than 54 now. This shit was fucking deadly. I was an 18-year-old kid, and I would walk. I'd give this guy $7, and he'd give me a fishing pole. And I'd throw it into the Roaring Creek, and after 2 minutes, an idiot, a blind moron, could catch a trout. And he'd come over. You'd say, I got something. And he'd come over, and he'd help you. Oh, shit, a little trout. He'd take it off for you, cook it, and then give you potato salad, bread, and beans, and you'd have your own fish that he'd grill up for you.
Really? Right there.
1983. I was hooked on that. I wouldn't even get a job. I took all my savings and I would go there. That was my exercise, to walk down there, get a fish, and walk home. Walk down there, get a fish, and then the animals would come home and we would squat. We would squat and do deadlifts and freaking cleans. My roommates, that's what they're in there shooting D-ball, shooting Deca, and eating Winnie V to chop up. It was amazing. That's all I ate was trout. I never heard of that. And then over here is Old Snowmass, and they used to have a gas station there. And the guy's from New York, so it was always New York time in there. It was so bizarre. And he sold Sabret hot dogs there in 1982. They were that much New Yorkers. But that's where I saw Goldie Hawn and that little girl for the first time. That little girl was just a little girl when I used to see her at that gas station.
You mean,
Yeah.
what is her name? The actress, the famous actress?
Yeah. And Old Snowmass had another road that went this way. And this is a tremendous story. There was because all this at the time in the 80s were kingpins. A lot of kingpins lived there, and that's where they go. They had this cocaine kingpin, a white guy that lived there, not the Grable that we discussed earlier on your show, this other guy. And the feds were trying to get him, so they freaking put cameras on all the, all street things to watch him. They fucked up, and they tapped into the cable TV. So his house was being shown to everybody on their TVs. So Joe Rogan went home, put on Channel 2, and it's me in my living room smoking a joint watching. That fucking guy sued the government for fucking gazillions because they didn't know how to reverse that. They had tapped into the cable. This is when they had 4 channels.
That's hilarious.
They had one Channel 2, and all they played was Charles Bronson movies. I was in heaven because at the Holiday Inn, it's been right there by the airport, Clint Eastwood would go there every night and get drunk.
Really?
So I was a kid.
What year was this?
This is 83. I'm a kid. And the rumor was all you had to do is go to the Holiday Inn, and Clint Eastwood would be at the bar drinking. And, bro, everybody would say, I was too young to go to the freaking bar. I was dying to meet Clint Eastwood. Are you freaking kidding me?
Wow.
But I couldn't go. And it was just, dog, this was just a complete different city.
How did everybody get attracted to that one area?
Aspen just had this lure. Let's Aspen's a great place.
It's a great place.
It's a great place.
It's a lot of rich white people, though.
Tons of rich white people.
You might get bored.
Did you see?
It's different now.
Yesterday they were talking about something. That chick was in Vegas. The chick we were just talking about, Goldie Hawn.
Right.
Her ski instructor. She gave
Kate Hudson?
Yeah,
Kate Hudson?
No, but the mother
Goldie Hawn.
gave her ski instructor Mercedes-Benz for Christmas.
Oh, shit.
They give you cars. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's how they roll up there. But it's an evil. Like, Ted Bundy was up there. Ted Bundy killed people in Snowmass Village at that hotel.
Really?
Ted Bundy escaped from the Aspen jail. This place has a really weird...
Ted Bundy killed people all the way down in Florida, too, right?
Florida, Colorado, Seattle.
Jesus.
This is a really weird part of Colorado. And I've told you before that in 84, Aspen was the cocaine capital of the country. All that coke was getting shipped up there for all these Hunter Thompson types.
Yeah.
Jack Nicholson, all these motherfuckers were up there then.
How weird that they all decided to go there.
No TMZ, no cameras, and they could get their dicks sucked. There was a bar called Patty Bugatti's that had a swimming pool right in the middle. So people be flipping pumping. In the middle of the pump, they jump in the pool with their clothes on. That was just crazy. The Aspen Club, what's his name, had a huge club up there. The guy, what's that? The guy that sings about tequila? Wasted away again.
Jimmy Buffett?
Jimmy Buffett had a club called the Paragon up there. Biggest bar on the West Coast, like 9 rooms, bro.
Really?
Huge. The Paragon. Over the Paragon were these apartments where the employees stayed. And I became friends with one of the waitresses, and that's why I fainted from a bong hit one time. The bong hit, I flipping fainted. I was sitting on the balcony talking shit. I'll do it. And all of a sudden, next thing you know, they're waking me up because it's so thin up there. That's where the air is really thin.
We were talking to this guy who lived in Aspen, and he told me he woke up one day and there was an elk on his back porch screaming.
Yeah.
You know how they scream when they're horny, when they're in the rut? This big ass elk was sitting on his porch, clop, 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 just screaming. He said it was like 5 o'clock in the morning or something like that. They looked through the curtains and this 1,000-pound animal's like right there behind the glass. Screaming.
But I was in awe when I first moved up there.
Colorado.
But the one that put me over the top was Kablunik's. Kablunik's restaurant was a restaurant. You had to call and make a reservation, then you had to meet them in a certain location and park your car. And then you got on a sled, and dogs pulled you to the restaurant.
Are you serious?
Oh, shit.
I want to go here.
And you had two seatings. You had a 7:30 seating and a 9:30 seating. That's how the only way they do it. And then they'd pull you out of there and sledge, mush. And in the daytime,
How far did they take you on
a
a sled?
couple miles.
Couple miles.
But in the daytime, you go up there and see how they train the dogs. So in the daytime, it became a different tourist attraction. Really cool. And then you go over a place called Independence Pass. Independence Pass is when you think you're a bad motherfucker, because Independence Pass is only open 3 months a year. It's only open from June to second week of September. And it cuts your time from Denver to Aspen by like an hour. But it's only open 3 months because it's a two-lane road that not a lot of people can handle. One time I went down, I had a big, tough friend from Jersey. He sat in the back and ducked and got on the floor. He couldn't handle it. It's that scary, Joe Rogan. Like if you're doing a lot of a car will come over, but at the end of Independence Road, on the other side, they had the Black Wolf Inn. And you went in there, you rented a room, and the lady had wolves, black wolves everywhere. And in the
Live
morning,
ones?
Live ones. And in the morning, that's what at night, that's all you hear is howl. Woo, woo. She had all the wolves, a black wolf. Man, dog. I don't know how many times I went in there. That's a great, now it's all chains. Money has really taken over.
Is there a video of that pass, Independence Pass?
Independence Pass.
Is that what they did in The Shining?
No, The Shining is the other place where that's the most visited spot in the country. People think it's the Grand Canyon, but it's really Estes Park, Colorado.
Really?
Because you bend over and they're doing something with that hotel, the Stanley Hotel.
Mm-hmm.
That's the best brunch on a Sunday in the country. Like the brunch there is known to be like fucking outrageousness. Where they shot The Shining, you're talking about that.
Yeah.
That's the Stanley Hotel. They're doing something there. They're either going to take that part of the hotel and turning it into a museum for The Shining. They're doing something there.
But they're going to make a real maze. You know that
Yes.
the maze of bushes?
right.
They're
Was
going to
that
make
what
a
you
real
read?
one.
Okay.
Yeah, they're going to make a real one, just like they did in the movie.
Yeah, take a look at Independence Pass. It's a scary road.
Well, you ever done the PCH all the way up to San Francisco?
Yes.
There's some fucking moments
some
on that
fucking moments
bitch.
on there.
When you look into the right of you and you're like, oh, okay. Especially when you're coming back from San Francisco and you're on the outside.
Sped up, right? Yeah.
No, this is a bird.
This is 82 to Aspen. So I guess you're starting. Wow, it's changed a lot. Look at those fucking trees.
So beautiful, though, man. There's something about mountain views that to me is the best view. Like, there's a lot of cool views. Like, the ocean's a really cool view. The meadows are a really cool view. But to me, mountains and trees, there's something about that that's just like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's so natural and powerful that the idea of all these plants growing out of the ground and reaching up to the sky, and they're thick and dense everywhere. You're just surrounded by plant life. And then you look up and the spectacular snow-capped mountains and blue sky and floating clouds and trees. And out there is all just wildlife, man. Just
Right here, Joe,
squirrels,
here's where it gets scary.
deer.
This is where it gets scary. Right there, where you're fucking. And it gets even thinner at parts.
Yeah, this is you got to trust the other people on the other side of the road. That's the problem. Same thing with the PCH.
It was so wild that here I am. Then I lived there, 83, and then I left then I went back in 85, and that's when I really got into trouble up there. But it was so weird. Amongst all this beauty, there was this fucking cocaine trail.
Look at the right side.
Oh, yeah.
It's like Mount Canyon. Whoa.
Fuck, man.
You think you'll move back there eventually, Joe? I mean, especially now that you're really big into hunting and stuff. It seems like it'll be more.
I love Denver. I fucking love it. Love it. It's might be my favorite spot. I love it. Every time I go there, I feel like I'm at home. Last time I was there, I had a fucking great time, man. And when I go up like to you could like live in the mountains like near Denver too, like Evergreen, places like that.
So what is this?
It's a half hour
What am I
away.
looking at?
Just Independence Pass, the whole ride. But every time I go back there, I'm like, yeah, this is probably better. And right now, Denver's booming. It's on fire. They can't control it. Like all the people that didn't want weed to be legal, boy, They got the worst possible results. Massive economic recovery. Housing prices are up 19%. Real estate's up 19%.
I heard rent's crazy
Rents
now.
are crazy.
Rents are crazy. The money is booming. They've made more money in taxes for the first time ever from marijuana than they do from alcohol. No, there's never been a place ever that's done that. They've passed the amount of money they make in taxes from alcohol because they tax it at like 39%. It's smart. They tax the shit out of it, and no one gives a fuck. Good. Who cares? Weed is so economical. If you think about it, like, well, how about one of those weed pens? Those ones that Gino sells. How much do they sell for? It's like $100 or something like that.
I don't even think it's that much.
No? 60?
60, maybe.
60, 40, 60.
Okay, whatever it is. And you have these little cartridges. How much are the cartridges? $30 or something like that?
yeah.
Dude, they will last for weeks.
Yeah.
Those guys, for you, not really.
3 days.
3 days.
3 days.
That's how I got caught on the plane, though.
You did, yeah. Yeah, you set off the alarm,
I
right?
set off the alarm.
I told you were going to do
And, and they came in, and they're like, are you smoking? I'm like, do I look like I'm fucking smoking? And she goes, I wonder what set this off. So the whole time, I'm like, they're going to throw me in fucking jail when I get to the airport.
Ooh.
I talked to you about this, like, because he periscoped and did it. Like, he was blowing it up, going, and he's just blowing it up on the plane.
You periscoped on the plane? Joey, that's like a federal offense.
Listen to me. But they didn't catch me. I couldn't smoke in the
They
row.
didn't catch you. You made your own video. You made your own evidence against yourself.
The video's gone. Right.
The ether.
This is when I was with my family, so I couldn't blow the smoke because the side sucks it in, and then Mercy will smell it.
Oh.
So I just got up and
Mercy,
went to the
right,
bathroom.
yeah.
Because listen, let me tell you something.
You know what Hinchcliffe does? Oh, I shouldn't tell you.
Let me tell you something. Those 5-hour flights without edibles are brutal.
You need to get a hold of some spray.
I got everything now. I got all the
Okay.
fucking
Don't get
utensils.
angry.
But no,
I just blew it into my sleeve.
I got the fucking the thing I was going to bring you guys, and I left it on the counter.
Yeah.
But I got up and went to the bathroom.
You got to be careful about saying what they're making.
I'm
Got to keep it on the DL.
I'm jizzled on the way back.
Jizzled?
Because on the way there, I didn't eat no edibles because I was worried about my kid. But on the way back, I'm like, fuck, it's 6 hours with this kid. I need something to calm me down. I went into that bathroom with the iPod on, so I really couldn't hear. And I'm hitting this pipe, and I'm like, I just charged this up. This motherfucker's hitting good. It's fucking smoke everywhere inside this bathroom. And all of a sudden, I can't hear, and I hear, and I see the light going. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I flush. I did piss because I was hitting it while I was pissing. I pissed, and I put it in my pocket. And I opened it. I go, what happened? She goes, were you smoking here? And they're like, it doesn't smell. I go, no. I don't know what happened. I banged up against the thing. And they're like,
My farts are so strong. You're setting off smoke detectors.
and I sat down. I thought they were going to throw me in jail. I gave my wife the car keys. Wow. I said, just in case they arrest me on the way out. They even said, thank you for coming on. Your daughter was great. So
Once they realize it's not smoke, I think.
Yeah.
I don't think they're offended as much as, like, if you have an e-cigarette. Like, they used to let you smoke those. Remember people used to take those blues on airplanes? They used to smoke them all the time. And then they had to put... They're just going to have to put... They had to figure it out, and they had to come up with laws for that, for e-cigarettes. They're going to have to come up with laws for those fucking hovercrafts. Those little hoverboards.
they're not allowed on.
They're blowing up now. Have you
They're
seen them?
blowing up, so they're not allowed on no more.
Yeah,
That's
Amazon
it. Get these
pulled all of them.
Get these morons off the plane.
Do they let you just drive around those? I have those. They blow up? Should I
They
leave them
blow up?
outside?
Yeah, leave them outside.
It depends if you have
Fuck.
a good version of them, or see, the problem is
Mine
there's
is straight out of China.
yeah.
How do you know what's the good version?
The good versions are the ones that actually have like a brand name and stuff. Where most of these generic ones are like just they're like just generic batteries, generic.
I just bought it from
parts.
Amazon. Should I throw them out? Get new ones?
I wouldn't.
Donate them to really risky kids?
I'll take them. no,
Hey,
but
kids, these are fun, but you're taking a chance.
there's
You
some
might
crazy
blow up.
videos that I've been seeing lately of them blowing up just
Yeah.
because of the generic batteries in them.
Yeah, I'm sure there's probably some of them that are better than others, but if you think about how many people have them, there's probably it's a very, very small percentage are blowing up, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know either. But anyway, they're going to have to figure out how to regulate them at the airport because people just ride around in them at the airport.
Yeah.
Like, there's one blowing up, huh? Yeah, but see, we don't know what happened here. That guy could have just lit that bitch on fire. We don't know what the
Well,
fuck
there's
this guy's
ones
doing.
that's like in malls. There's like a
Yeah.
One blew up in a mall. That's what I saw.
yeah.
You know what else I like about Denver, dog? Those motherfuckers are strapped constantly. You can't even ISIS knows. Like, what about Denver? Ooh,
a lot of
those white people, a little on the crazy side. Now they're smoking that THC. You don't want to take the chance. They might shoot you before the grenade goes off, and your world is going to be fucked up. They're going to put cowboy in you and take you up in the mountains and rub maple syrup on you and tie you to a tree and bake you and then stab you to death. I'll see how much you fucking love Allah after that, motherfucker. Because, listen, man, I've told you 1,000 times, there's some real crazy gun-loving Americans in the mountains of Colorado.
Oh, yeah.
I'm talking, and then they're not malicious, none of those militias. I know good white Americans in Colorado that are waiting at their house right now. They're building weapons to kill Talibans and shit like that. I know them personally. I know one guy, I call him from a fucking throwaway phone. Because I know they got the taps on this motherfucker. This guy 20 years ago showed me grenade launchers in his fucking garage. I can't imagine what he's got now. Every time I call, I send them Christmas cards from a different address. I go to like Studio City and mail it to them. I love him. His first name is Fred. That's all I can tell you. This guy
probably said too much already.
This guy taught me everything about. He was a fucking weapon. I was over there when they just talking. I go, you ever see the movie Scarface? That's a great gun he had at the end. And he just looked at me like. He looked at his wife. He goes, do me a favor. Can you go in the other room for a second? She's like, sure. She's like a nice white lady. He's like, I want to show Joey something. This lady got out. He pulled over his couch. And what he had under that couch, the Scarface gun was his littlest gun. Do you understand me? That Scarface gun, that was his fucking appetizer to kill people. This guy had so many things. Then he started ratting himself out. That he was in Vietnam. He started showing me the pictures and the ears and the cards, a deck of cards they put on people and all that. And I was like, and he's like, if you want to go shoot sometime, I'll take it. And that was the beginning of a friendship, dog. He taught me so many little things. He knew how to fucking kill people he could kill somebody on Mars right now. But he just knew. He just knew. He was amazing, the shit this guy knew. You want to kill somebody on Mars? I got the angle. He wanted to, it was just something from another planet, man. He would take me on the weekends. I'd have to buy for my own bullets and shit. But all the other shit we shot, I can't tell you the shit we shot.
There's a lot of gun enthusiasts out there.
A lot of gun. But this guy.
You know my big friend Justin?
Yeah.
He don't even know how many guns he has. I go, how many guns you have? He goes, I don't know. And I go, more than 100? He goes, oh, yeah. More than 100.
What about when I hugged the doctor?
Steve? Yeah.
I hugged him one time.
Yeah, he's strapped.
I was like, what the fuck? He's like, oh, yeah, I don't leave nowhere without this.
He was in the military. He was an Air Force flight surgeon. He doesn't give a fuck. That guy is crazy as fuck. He's been my friend for 27 years, 28 years. More than that. Oh, shit, how many years? Oh, my God. Dude, 30 years. He's been my friend for 30-something years. 33 years. Wow, that's crazy. Yeah, that guy, he's in his 60s. He gets his body fixed just so he can go back to sparring again. He's in his 60s. Blows his rotator cuff. Well, I'm going to have to get that fixed. Gets it all fucking stitched up. Well, blew my knee out again. Got to get that fixed. He's had more than 20 knee surgeries. He's crazy. Guy doesn't give a fuck.
He's only training with young kids.
He doesn't give a fuck. He'll come after you, too, like a wild dog. He's always been that way. He was an ophthalmologist when I met him. He was doing his residency in Boston. This guy, I've never met anybody that worked harder. There's a few people in my life that, when I was young, that let me know what hard work really was. Like, I thought I worked hard, and then I'd watch these guys, and I just feel fuck. One of them was Steve. Steve was, he was an ophthalmologist. He was doing his residency. He was sitting on the toilet, eating food out of a tray, and he fell asleep, and his buzzer went off. So he's shitting, eating, and sleeping at the same time, and his buzzer goes off to tell him to go back to work. Because when you're in your residency, you do these insane hours. Like, they're just mind-blowing. And then you're studying, and you just, like, it's chaos. The amount of sleep that they get versus the amount of work that they have to do, it's amazing how people don't constantly accidentally kill people. Because they're all so tired. Like, it's the weirdest thing about doctors. And I don't know how if they still do it this way, but the way they used to do it, they would make them work these fucking ungodly hours. And you would always be exhausted. And so you would think you'd want to be wide awake and thinking clearly to make medical decisions, especially about people's vision, right? Nope. All these fucking guys, they make them work insane hours. And the other one was my friend Jungshik Chang. He was a U.S. national Taekwondo champion, and he came from my same gym. And he was a guy who won the championships while he was in medical school. This fucking guy. You want to talk about a guy who worked hard? I never met anybody who worked harder, complained less, got so little sleep. If he slept like 4 hours a night, it was plenty. And he was training for the national Taekwondo team. This fucking guy used to do studying, and in between studying, he would sprint up the stairs in his university and come back down, and then sprint. And he would do that, like, in between, he would, like, read or do his work for a couple hours, and then he would sprint upstairs. Put his backpacks, throw all his books in his back, put his backpack on, and sprint up the stairs. He just did every waking moment dedicated to all the shit that he had to get done. Because he came from a Korean background, and Korean parents are some of them super strict about their children succeeding. His father just put all this incredible pressure on him.